Now, before I continue on with this video, more information from king-ohger has been dropped. But when I was talking about Sentai gimmicks and how most of them are, I feel like some were really boring and some are really okay. Now, with the rumors of king-ohger and the way... Why was I looking down at there? I don't know why. So when king-ohger was announced, we know that they were going to have medals. It is now turned into coins, and there will be an updated version of all the king-ohger stuff, which either will come before this or after it. I have no idea, it depends on the video schedule, but I wanted to talk today about gimmicks in Super Sentai, how some can be boring and if it's the same thing over and over again. Now, at the time of recording this, I mentioned that the medals were going to be very similar to how Zenkaiger and Don Brothers have been from the kind of gimmicks and stuff like that, which again I think is kind of fine, but I feel like if you keep doing this over and over again, it just gets a little bit boring. Now, you could say that this is an easier way to kind of, make something different rather than say ranger keys, batteries, or whatever. And I feel like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, people just kind of zone out. People buy the ones that they like the most. Oh, I'm going to buy the Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger to add to my collection. I'm going to buy Jew Ranger because that's the one I want. Jetman, Bioman, Maskman, Denjiman, whatever. I really don't know why I went on to a rant on the Sentai teams. Hope I got them right. But either way, when you just buy the same ones and having to buy the same type thing, it gets a little bit boring. And I think over time, I really enjoyed how Super Sentai do their own thing. And that's what I generally like. It felt different. Ranger keys, then moving on to batteries, then on to kind of something different. And then there's Zenkaiger, and then on to, what else was it? Like Zenkaiger and Don Brothers. It felt different. But now you're kind of going back into the medals, which again would remind me of stuff that we've had, gears, and all of that. Now, apparently they're the same size as the OOO medals, or OO medals from Kamen Rider, which I think would be kind of cool. But again, I think I would want something a little bit different. There's the sort of gimmicks that you get with Don Brothers. You get the fact that you could turn it into past Rangers, which again was something that was kind of, again, unique originally, but we don't see that happen again. Kind of really want to see like Don Brothers versus Gokaiger. I think that would be absolutely fantastic when they transform. How would it work? I don't know, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see. But the same thing is like with Zenkaiger, when you use the gear, you gain that ability, from what it would be, a finisher attack, something that happened in the series. I still think one of the best scenes, I think it's from Jetman, that Zenkaiger reenacted. I think that's still one of the best things that I've seen. But you had that ability, and that kind of stood out. Now, I'm just hoping that we don't get transformations like, oh, I can turn into past Rangers, because it just generally gets a bit boring for the same thing. Yeah, I get it. You can turn into past Rangers. That's really cool and seeing the suits. But we've just previously had that with Don Brothers. We've had it with Gokaiger, with the films that have been released, as well as the Two Kaiser and Gokaiger. There's tons there. And I don't particularly want to have to kind of redo this all over again. I wanted them to make something different. I want them to make something that I can collect and go, oh, this is cool. It's not exactly the same as what we had the previous year and the year before that. I think the main thing that I'm seeing right now is that I don't want this to be every single year. The whole transformation into past teams was mind-blowing when they did it in Gokaiger, but I don't want this to be the main thing that they always do every year to kind of make sales or do it. With Don Brothers, I was very kind of skeptical that they would do this every episode or every other episode. But what I like about Don Brothers is they really rarely did it. And when they do it, it is special. It's like, oh my God, this is really, really cool. But majority is they fight with what they have. They fight with their weapons. They don't have to rely on turning it into past teams. And this is where I kind of want to make sure that it doesn't kind of fuck up later on or something like that. So I'm kind of hoping that we don't go down the gimmick of every single year of having them turn into past Rangers, having them do what they do. It would just get boring as shit. If, say, for example, the medals did exactly the same thing as Zenkaiger, I could kind of see it being okay. But again, if they kept doing that again, I just get boring. It's like, cool, leave that for the unique team. Zenkaiger, I can use the weapons. That was unique. The Don Brothers and Gokaiger, again, turning into past teams, again, unique. But if you keep doing it, you just run it into the ground. And I don't think most people want to see that. And if you do, cool. But for me personally, I kind of really want to see something a little bit different and them thinking out of the box yet again. I think right now we don't know what's going on. I think what I would generally like to see is how Zenkaija, I just generally thought this is off script. But generally what Zenkaija did, and it was going to be like an anniversary to the mecha and stuff like that, I would generally like it if, say, for example, that they transform into past Megazords and fight. I think that would be kind of cool, and it had to be like a union thing like Don Brothers. That, I think, would work really, really well, and I'm going to make a video on that and talking about it a bit more. But yeah, I thought I'd just generally talk about this. It's a generally interesting topic. I'm going to see what king-ohger is like, and I can't wait to see the first kind of little things that they do, like the previews. We've already seen stuff. I'm going to be talking about all of this in another video later on or before. I don't know when this is coming out. I'm looking forward to seeing what king-ohger does and what that brings to the table. I just don't want them to keep doing the same thing every single year because it would get boring. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. See ya.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。